What's up? We got a new build video. I recently got this Razor Rambler purely for cruising the pits at the races. Well, after one race, I realized real quick, we can't just have one. So I picked up a second option. What we have here is the Dragster. There was one feature I saw about this bike that I thought this is gonna be the ultimate pit cruiser. Let's get into it. As you know, I run Razor. This is not a Razor product. I just thought it was a cool bike. Then we could make a cool video with it. The rotor just cut me. It just shaved that chunk. Ow! That is really thick. Okay, we gotta pick back up. Okay, sorry about that. We're all patched up. Back to it. I knew it was small, but it's actually a lot smaller than I expected it to be. The biggest thing about this bike, it had a wheelie bar. So you could like just sit back and do wheelies. But the wheelie bars are not here. I'm gonna go ahead and charge this thing overnight. We'll come back tomorrow. I'll have everything fine-tuned and we'll take it for a rip and see what it's got. Well, a month later, we're back. And look what we got. Let me tell you a bit about it, and we'll get straight into riding. So we have the Dragster by EBOX. The original package for this bike did not come with the wheelie bar, and honestly, the wheelie bar is the whole reason why I wanted to get this bike and make this video. Since I've had this bike for about a month now, I have been playing around on it. I actually took it on our last trip to 2 BMX races. And let me just go ahead and start off by saying, I thought it'd be another just a fun pit cruiser to add to the collection but this thing is so overpowered for how it's built. We have a super short wheelbase. Your butt literally sits near about directly over the axle. It's a super fun bike. I haven't got a top speed yet, so best believe we're about to go get a top speed here in a second. I say all this because if you see this bike online and you think your little son or daughter needs to get this bike, I highly do not recommend this bike for kids. It's got 2 level settings. It's got the aggression, which is like throttle response, and then you have just a top speed. This bike is ridiculously fast. How low you are to the ground, how short their back end is, it feels extra fast. So I'm just saying, don't go buy this bike for your kids. If you want a bike to learn how to wheelie like I did, I suck at wheelies. Now we have a bike with a wheelie bar, multiple settings. So today, we're gonna take this thing out there and we're gonna learn how to wheelie. We have a rigid back end, we have a rigid frame, we have no suspension, we got these super fat CST tires, 8 or 9 inch handlebars, we got hydraulic brakes, front and rear. It did say it requires a 48 volt or 60 volt charger. It doesn't really matter, the thing is massive. It does come with a USB charger up top, so if you're just out cruising, you can plug your phone. I think that's it. Let's pull it off the table and take it for a rip. You guys have heard me talk about the kill switch that's in the brake. So when you throttle and hit the brake, it kills the power. So for now, like if we're feathering the brake, every time we pull the brake, it's gonna chop the throttle. So I'm gonna cut those wires off. This is your brake reservoir. So that is your hydraulic brakes. You do not want to cut this one. So that means it's this wire that we want to cut. This side, we have 3 wires. One goes underneath and around to our switch. So obviously don't want to cut that one. So again, we want to make sure we're cutting this wire. We can just go under and disconnect it if you don't want to commit to it. But now we can feather the brakes while continuing to push throttle. I'm on the brake right now. Here you go. Aggression all the way up, max speed. I almost feel like we need to go get a top speed test just while we're at max battery. Let's go do that, and then we'll play with some wheelies because this is already too low. I gotta stand it up more. All right. Aggression all the way up. Speed all the way up. Oh my God. You know what, let's just do it all the way down just to see how fast it goes all the way down. So this is turned completely down. We're going 6 miles an hour, but without taking off the throttle. Let's do one more going slightly downhill right here, just to see what it really will max out at, all right? All the way up, let's go. I will say, for a bike straight out of the box going 40 miles an hour is that's pretty wild. You know, I was going to like work my way all through the wheelie bar settings, but I think we're just gonna go to the highest. They just paved this parking lot, so I knew it'd be nice. We have a couple white lines in the flat section, so we have a point of reference on how far we carry our wheelies. We'll keep this simple. We'll just try to go from point A to point B. The biggest thing in wheelies is learning how to feather your brakes. What I struggle with on these bikes is electric bikes have backwards brakes. Me being a BMXer, my back brake is on the right, and my Harleys and motorcycles, I also have on the right foot brake. So teaching my brain to default pull left lever for a rear brake has kind of been a hard one for me to kind of reconfigure how my brain works. This point, oh, that's way higher. I have to like tell myself I'm not gonna loop out, you know, I have to trust the bar. Oh my God. I'm gonna practice for a minute and get back to you guys.
A few moments later.
Hey. Oh my God. So once I get there, you rely on it, but you can't rely on it. You need to learn to get to the balance point, and you want to be able to balance without the wheelie bar actually touching. The more you get familiar with where that balance point is, the more confident you have in that position. Oh, see, that would have been bad. Now I'm just coasting. Oh yeah. Oh, that was it. That was line to line and the wheelie bar never touched. Play it back. Yo, there we go. I want to hit one and like coast by the camera. We're using the bar, but that's what it's for. Yeah. Oh. No! No! Dude! I just made all 4 lines without the wheelie bar touching. You know what? I think I can make the bar even higher now. Oh, we're rolling. Oh my God, we're going downhill. We're still going. Oh man, this thing is sick. Well, this completely changed my view on this bike. So my overall impression has completely changed. It's not really the style bike I would ride all the time, but if I now keep it strictly for wheelie practice, I absolutely love it. It's a very niche style bike, I would say. Adults for sure. Again, I wouldn't say I'd put any kids on it just because of the power it has. Obviously you can turn it down, but it's also just as easy for some little rider just crank that up and get themselves hurt. So yeah, you guys literally saw that real time, right? Like my wheelies were pretty bad at the beginning, but I've never had like a good balance point where I can just wheelie and be up at 12 o'clock. I'm always kind of just chasing it with the throttle. But this one, you can't really do that because you're either in it or you're not because the back end's so short. And the wheelie bar really, I mean, you guys saw it, right? Like it really allowed me to get comfortable safely where that actual balance point is and where you should be like in your balance. I feel like now that I've kind of gotten comfortable, once I learned where the balance point was, I was almost like kind of just kissing it on the ground. And I think if I had a higher wheelie bar, I'd almost just be sitting in it longer, properly balancing. Yes, I could just take the wheelie bar off. I think this bike is just gonna stay in the shop as the wheelie bike for anyone to practice their wheelies. EBOX, this is a cool bike. You know, again, my expectations were pretty low when I first pulled it out of the box, especially not having a wheelie bar. The throttle is very touchy. If you're out just ripping the street, unless you're fully maxed out, it kind of has a lot of on and off. I imagine that's the controller, but if you want to learn how to wheelie, get this bike strictly for learning to wheelie. Don't worry about going fast on the road. You're pretty limited with not having suspension or anything like that. 2 thumbs up for this one. This was really cool. Again, it's a niche type bike, but everybody loves the wheelie, right? And I obviously didn't have to crash one time today to learn wheelies, so we're gonna head back to the house. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.